Hello ladies and gentlemen, in today's dividend video I'm going to talk you through the process of how I use Excel to compare dividends between various companies to find out which companies require the least amount of investment for the biggest gain. I'll explain how to work out the monthly income for all stocks regardless of if the stock pays monthly, quarterly or annually. The three stocks I'm going to show you today are Realty Income, which is ticker symbol O, that provides dividends on a monthly basis. Coca-Cola, ticker symbol KO, which pays dividends on a quarterly basis. And Nestle, NESN, which pays on an annual dividend. By the end of this, you'll be able to compare how much investment would be required to get the same net effect back from each stock. So let's dig in. First of all, let's bring up Realty Income. We can see on their dividends that they pay on a monthly basis every month, and this was the last dividend amount that was paid out per share. So let's take this figure and pop it into our last dividend column. Share is Realty Income. And then we also need the current share price, which we can get from any brokerage site such as eToro. And just search for the ticker. So as you can see, the current share price is 61.01. So let's pop that in. And this is a monthly dividend. So there's two calculations we're going to perform. First is to figure out how many shares are required to earn $1,000 in a given month. So for that we simply take 1,000 and we divide it by the last dividend. So if we had 4,282.66 shares, every month we would get £1,000, obviously before tax. I'm going to do the same exact calculation again to earn £3,000 a month, just as another example. Now, to figure out the investment amount required to get $1,000 a month, we simply take the shares required and times it by the share price, because you would need to buy that many shares at that price. And the same thing for the 3,000. So as you can see, with Realty Income, current prices and last dividend, you would need 4,000 shares, which at $61 a share would be $261,000 to get a consistent £1,000 a month. So now let's move on to the next stock, which would be Coca-Cola. So let's pop that in there, Coca-Cola. So Coca-Cola pays on a quarterly dividend, and its last dividend amount was 41 cents. Again, we can look up the ticker symbol here. Coca-Cola's current share price is 48.45, so let's pop that in. Dividend frequency is quarterly. Now the calculation for this one is different because it pays out less frequently than the other one. So the calculation for this is 1,000, which is the amount, divided by, and then in parentheses, the last dividend divided by 3, because you've got 4 quarters in a year, so 4 divided by 3 would be the 12. And we can do the same calculation below for what it would be required to get 3,000. And then this part of the calculation is exactly the same as it was for the other. So we just take that and times it by the share price. Okay, so already we can see that there's a big difference in these bottom two numbers for these two shares. We can see that Coca-Cola would require more investment to get the same result. But let's move on to the third example, which is Nestle, which pays annually. So this is the dividend history for Nestle, as you can see. And its last dividend payout was $2.70. Now this stock isn't in dollars, it's in CHF, so you would have to also factor in the exchange rate, which I'm not going to cover in this, but it's very simple to do. So, but let's assume it was dollars and just use the same numbers. So last dividend was $2.70. Share price of Nestle, which is this one here, 108.30. This one's annually. So again, because this one's annually, the calculation is different again. This time we divide by 12 because it's not monthly, it's annually. There's 12 months in a year. And then, last but not least, we take them and divide them by times them back to the share price, which gives you the values. So then on this final slide, I've just added them all onto a single screen so you can see side by side. Same bang for the buck. Realty income in this case would be the one that would require less upfront to get the same $1,000 or $3,000 a month. Now, the downside of having a quarterly or an annual dividend would be that you would have to manage the money for the extra period. If you wanted a certain monthly income, you would have to make sure that you didn't spend all of it in 1 month, and then you'd have nothing for the remaining 2 months of the quarter or 11 months of the year. You know, you can't go on a big spending spree. But equally as much, you could also just reinvest the dividends back into the same stocks to get more and more growth, to compound the growth. So yeah, that's a quick overview of how to calculate dividends comparatively against each other with different companies. Obviously you can take this even further with more companies and get more information. This is what I've done. I've built up this big large spreadsheet which has over 130 tickers. So yeah, if you want to get access to that information, feel free to have a look at our Patreon page. I hope you found the video useful. Please like, subscribe and comment down below.